definitely think I'll give it a try just because of the fact that it's only a 3 Magica card. The Pillifer thing, you know, you have to get to your opponent's face, but because it's 3 Magica, putting it down pretty early is not bad. And then you could play it against with Archer's Gambit, or you could play it with the crossbow. Is it crossbow? The crossbow that deals 1 damage. So yeah, useful. When you sacrifice a creature, no. There are decks that will use this pretty well, but I would prefer if this was a 2 cost. For the cost, I'm not happy with it. So we'll move on. Choose an enemy creature. When praying damages the chosen creatures, draws 2 cards. Oh, wow. Great card. Great card for Archer. Yeah, you guys, same thing as I said about Archer's Gambit, the crossbow, or any other ways to make an attack. So many different ways to do it. So yeah, definitely it could attack itself. You can use that sword that deals 2 damage to itself and then deals damage to the opponent creature. And then you draw 2 cards. Yep, this is going to see play for sure. No, actually, this is another top tier card from the set. It's another top tier card from the set for sure. Okay. Oh, Great Wood Elder. If Great Wood Elder... oh, man. Come on, Throat. Work with me here. I'm trying to be a YouTuber. No. This is not going to make anything. It's just for fun. I would have to look through these cards nonetheless. I would have seen these. Had to look through these myself. If Great Wood Elder is in your hand at the start of your first turn, gain 1 Magica this turn. That's an interesting effect because it's the first card I could think of off the top of my head real quick. Thinking about the sets that's been released. That gains you Magica for just having the card in your hand. Now, what I don't understand is it says at the start of your first turn, gain 1 Magica this turn. So, is it a continuous effect if you get it in your hand the very first turn out of your 50 or 75 card deck, right? Or 100 card deck, who cares how much you want to play, that's your choice. Is it a continuous effect or you only get gain 1 Magica on the very first deck? If I'm reading it correctly, I hope I am. It's like you have it the first turn and you'll just gain Magica, extra Magica that's this turn. So is it the next turn or just that? Oh, it says this turn. Is that just the first turn? Oh man, I'm kind of freaking confused. If it's a continuous effect, other than just the first turn, playable card for the 4/5 guard, because you just keep it in your hand to gain Magica, and your opponent can't really affect it other than a few cards that allow the opponent to barter with your hand or turn a creature into the Shivering Mommy, you know. So there are ways for your opponent to affect your hand, but I would have to test this. Somebody will just correct me. I'm sure you guys already know. You guys probably already playing all these cards. Wouldn't be surprised if Screamers did like preview events. Immune to lethal, immune to shackle. The shackle hurts more than the lethal even for me, because I love me some shackle. Your opponents cannot target Hulkin, oh man, I'm suck with names, with actions. Okay. So immune to lethal, immune to shackle, and it can't be targeted by actions. I like it. I like it because it can be played in the shadow lane. It can't be hit by, you know, the Viper. Can't be shackled. It's a 10/10. And it doesn't cost 12 Magica. That's why I like it. That's the truthful thing, is the Magica cost is the only reason I think this card is actually good. If this card costs 12 Magica, 11 Magica, I wouldn't be okay with it. But because we already have cards that are not, definitely not the same thing, but similar enough. that don't see that much play. You know, breakthrough, regenerate guard. Your opponents cannot target this, you know, with action. You know, iron can't be targeted with actions. Now, obviously, this is a guard, so this is meant to protect you. And breakthrough, with breakthrough, you can use unstoppable rage on the next turn with a card like this. But the 12 Magicka, that what hurts with this card for me personally. When your opponent and you have that much Magicka, especially if it's not even ramped, if it's just naturally you gain 1 Magicka every single turn. Once you have 12 Magicka, you have so many options on cards to play. Even not being able to target by actions could make it to the point where, you know, you could lose. But if you could get this card on the field either naturally once you have 10 Magicka or on turn 9 when you break the ring of Magicka, then I could see this actually being a threat to your opponent, because now if they only have 10 Magicka as well, they have a limited amount of ways to deal with this. They could try to steal it, you know, using the 11 costs, the Dragonborn type cards. You know, like there's from willpower. There's ways to take care of this card, but because it could come out a little earlier, and I know it's only 2 Magicka earlier, it doesn't seem like a crazy amount, but I really do. It really is. It really is. The difference between a 10 Magicka card and a 12 Magicka card is significant with this effect. I really think it is, and it's similar to, and it's not even a damage, because once again, I'm not talking about this card because of what its attack is really, because we already have cards that's even cheaper than that does the same thing. Never forget, Frost Giant exists. This card, I don't hardly play, and I hardly ever see it played against me personally. It's an 8 Magicka 10/10, so you could get that much damage just dropped on the field early, but it has no summon effect, and its effect to gain health is not very reliable anyways. But the difference, even though the card Hulkin doesn't have a summon effect, the fact that it can't be targeted or can't be damaged by certain things makes it so effective. The shackle is the biggest one, because one of the biggest ways to delay creatures is just shackle them, hold them down, make sure that they can't move. That gives you a turn to prepare and react to them. So now that you don't have the option to shackle this creature, it becomes an immediate threat. So even if you were winning the match, or you had the advantage, but you still would have took you another turn or two to win, and your opponent will take the advantage and give them a good chance to win. Like they play this, and if you know your opponent's playing stuff like Cliff Racers, and this plus a Cliff Racer could give them enough chance to beat you, even though you have, let's say your opponent has 14 health, right? No, you have 14 health, and no, you both have 14 health. Let's just do a scenario. And now you have 13 damage on the field. You were pretty confident you're going to win, and you know you don't have a good way to really win the match in one turn, but you're pretty confident you'll do the 13 damage and the following turn you'll win. And your opponent then now plays this. Now you're like, well, fuck. I might have 14 damage on the field, but I played this in the left lane. But what do? Just do the 14 damage and then let your opponent hit face with this and hope they don't have a Cliff Racer in their hand? Well, no, as a player, you might have to think, you know what? I might have to use my creatures and trade into this big 10/10 thing just to get rid of it, because if my opponent does have the Cliff Racer, it screws me. And now, me as a player who plays this in the left lane, gave myself another turn to hopefully come up with a strategy, and you as my opponent said, you know what? We'll still both have a pretty decent amount of health, and we could make the match go a little bit longer. Nobody's going to lose in the next turn as long as I play like this. So I think because this is a card that your opponent might have to deal with immediately for 10 Magicka, or even get it, you know, a turn earlier when you have 9 Magic by using the Ring of Magicka, or you reduce the cost of this card using Thieves Guild Recruit, I think it's an interesting card. I think it's an interesting card, especially because there's multiple ways to reduce the cost of this. We'll see. I think this is playable. Sure. I didn't think I was going to talk about that one that much, but I did. Skin Hound. Okay. Give a creature +2 and guard. I like it. Simple 2-drop. More 2-drops are useful. Being able to give +2 and guard is very useful because it could give ward creatures +2 and guard. In fact, I think I will immediately add this to my deck. Well, I know I don't have it right now. I think it will be added to my Royal Sage deck because I would like to add, I like testing things out. This is a cool deck to test it into. It will allow me to turn some of those ward creatures, which I have a few of right now, into guards. So that's where I see the definite benefit for that. And the +2 doesn't hurt as well. And then you still have a 2/1 on the field, especially if you could turn if I turn a ward creature, if I'm playing a Royal Sage deck, right? Where I'm also playing Golden Saint. Being able to have a guard up that has ward, and then still have a creature I can attack with to keep the health advantage early on, which give me a higher chance of having health advantage to play Royal Sage or Golden Saint. So this seems playable, and I kind of like the little red eye glow effect going on right here. I think it's another great card. I think it's a pretty great card right here. A friendly creature battles an enemy creature. Man. Before I give my opinion, I have to check. Before I talk out of my ass, I might have been way too long. I want to see all the freaking cards with battle. Okay, so this is a 4-cost card that says summon a friendly creature with 5 or more power battles an enemy creature. Alright, so that's a 4 magical cost card that you need a 5 magical power creature to accomplish that with. Okay. This is a 4 magica, a creature battles itself. Okay. We're getting somewhere. It's a 6 magica 3/3 prophecy battle. This is a 6 magica summon battle enemy creature. This is a 5 magica summon battle enemy creature. This is a 7 magica. This is a 7 magica. 6 magica. Get back to you. 3, I guess. OP. This card's OP. This card is 2 magica? A friendly creature. Are you top tier card right here? Another card for the runner for best card in the set so far. Wow. The usability of. Let me read this. I'll make sure I'm not reading this wrong. I just gotta focus. I gotta make sure there's no. A friendly creature battles an enemy creature. There's no downside to this, and it costs 2 magica? What's Bethesda thinking right now? What they thinking over Sparky fan? What's going on? The usability of this card is insanity in Endurance. Like, you know, just simple. Let's just talk about the simplest use. Not even like the crazy winning right away. Just the simplest possible use for this card. Sorry. Just the simplest use. The Father. That's just a simple one. You know, still is a 6 magica altogether to pull it off. But, you know, this is another option to Defiler. Because, you know, people love the Defiler combo. That's 7 magica. We play Defiler into Crossbow, where Defiler just does 1 damage, but you have to hope your opponent has a creature with 1 damage. Or people love the combo with Defiler, where you play Defiler, and then you play the item. I think it's a... Is it 2 cost? I always forget the cost of stuff. Yeah, here we go. It is 2. Sword of Inferner. The wielder deals 2 damage to itself and another creature. So that's the Defiler only dealing 2 damage. That's the Defiler dealing 2 damage to itself and dealing damage the opponent creature. But in this case, it's not like that. Defiler doesn't have to deal damage to themselves as well from the item. It could just battle the enemy creature directly. But here's even what's key here, at least in the decks I'm thinking of, if you just, I'm just using, like I said, I'm just using Defiler alone as an example. I would give Defiler Ward, like, you know, give Defiler Ward, then use that card so it attacks fully, and you know, there's like so many, there's so much possibility. What? Oh man, I can't wait to get this card in my hand. When do I get this? Act 1? Top tier. Top tier. This will be people's nightmares. Endurance is going to play so much more now, guys. This is going to be people's nightmare when they see this card, man. Young Mammoth with this early.